A whole new way to sell your home, and with Open Door, there's no hassles and hurdles of listing, showings, and all the unknowns. In fact, I've been to Open Door's website and saw for myself how easy it is to get a free offer on your home. Over 1 million folks have already done it. Just go to opendoor.com/KZZO. That's opendoor.com/KZZO. When you get there, put in your address, tell them a little about your house, and they'll make you an offer on your house in minutes. Told you, it's a whole new way to sell your home, and when you sell directly to Open Door, you skip over the traditional process. That means you close when you're ready, you do everything online, and you skip all the hard parts. You're not making repairs yourself or having a bunch of showings or doing any prep work. Sell your home the new fashioned way and skip the hard parts at opendoor.com/KZZO. That's opendoor.com/KZZO.
Doing great.
You've been in the jewelry business for a while. What's a Valentine's Day gift that will really take her breath away?
We have so many options at Shane Company.
What if you're serious, but not ready to get engaged?
Our designers created an infinity diamond necklace made with our signature shade of rose gold for $565.
That sounds nice.
So love having something so special.
Any other favorites?
An east-west heart necklace.
What's an east-west heart?
A sideways heart. Heart necklace.
That's cool.
It is. It's accented with either a red garnet, an amethyst, or a kosher freshwater bottle. $150.
Wow.
And you can get her earrings to match the gemstone.
Go to the store or shaneco.com.
Either way, we'll make it easy for you.
That sounds awesome.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
Break for Bacon Bite. Ah, yes, the open road. Just you and your hunger. And if you listen carefully, you can hear what it's craving. Bacon. Extra bacon. 4 strips of crispy bacon stacked on a charbroil with melty cheese. Satisfy your bacon craving with the Bacon Beast Burger or the Bacon Beast Burrito with melty cheese for breakfast. Try the new Bacon Beast menu from Carl's Jr. Feed your happy. Available for a limited time at participating Carl's Jr. restaurants. Bacon Beast Burrito available during regular breakfast hours.
The speed you need at a great price. I love my Xfinity Internet because I multitask like crazy. Like when I'm working from home, I've got multiple laptops. I've got this microphone plugged into a USB thing. And even with all that going on, everything in my house is still working on my Xfinity Internet, from my security system to my robot vacuum. Having it all riding on Xfinity Internet is a game changer because it's fast, reliable internet speed that powers all the devices in my home. When it comes to reliable internet, you deserve the best. And with Xfinity, you can choose from a range of fast, reliable speeds to fit your needs. With Wi-Fi speeds faster than a gig available. Get the fast and reliable internet you deserve at a great price with Xfinity. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today to get started. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary and are not guaranteed.
Walgreens, we know February is the season for LOVE. It's also something sweet for your sweetheart season. Or my favorite, wait, that's today's season? Or the just found out my kid has a crush season. Good luck, Mom. This Valentine's Day, Walgreens makes it easy to quickly get last-minute gifts with pickup in as little as 30 minutes. Because if it's Cupid season, it's Walgreens season.
Right now, premium chocolate bags and boxes are 2 for $8. Offer valid through 2/14 while supplies last. Restrictions apply. See Walgreens.com for details.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed with what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like, 1, 2, 3.
Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owed $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-375-2922. 800-375-2922.
All their lives.
I know people that had PTSD from having COVID, but are better now. I can't imagine anyone having it their entire lives.
Imagine sheltering in place forever. Help Heal Veterans, with the support of citizens like you, helps these isolated or sick veterans at no charge to them.
How can I help?
Learn more at healvets.org.
Healvets.org?
Yes. This message is furnished by Help Heal Veterans.
There's never been a better time to transfer your prescriptions to Walgreens because Walgreens now accepts all Medi-Cal members with prescription services built for your schedule, like 90-day refills and pharmacy chat. Walgreens makes keeping up with your medications simple. So tell your neighbors, the delivery driver, even that miniature bulldog next to you on the floor. It's cute. Walgreens is accepting all Medi-Cal members. Transfer your prescriptions today.
Talk to a pharmacist to see if your prescriptions qualify for 90-day refills.
And we're maxed out.
Great. Maxed out cards, rent is due, bills are piling up. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
We should do what my brother did. He went to 27cash.com and got $3,000.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is different. They're one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000.
I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork.
Nope. My brother said it was fast and easy. He did it right from his phone.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan of up to $5,000 in minutes, and your cash can hit your bank account as soon as the next day. Our lenders have millions of dollars to lend regardless of your credit history.
Great news. I went to 27cash.com and we'll have our money as soon as tomorrow.
Wow, that is fast.
If you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com.
Let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton at Big G Sports. This is Charlton of Big G Sports, coming to you worldwide on the Big G Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big G Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to people who love sports. That includes me. Today is a beautiful February the 1st, 2022. From the Porches Bonzo in City Beach. They call it Black History Month, but every day is Black History. Every day is Black History. Give it all some praise. Give Black History Month some praise, praise, praise. We get one day. I say every day is Black History Month. I want to say today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the champion of the world. You can buy a test drive yours and sell it strong. That is Black History Month. Big Sports and oh, welcome, feet of Cadillac cars. So all around the world, you can follow Big T Sports on 23 podcast applications from Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeart-Radio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, and also number 10, that would be, let me see, what comes after 9? 10, give that some praise. Give that some praise. Praise. Oh, man. Funny thing, I just want to say, I'll finish it up later. It's so funny. You can follow Big T Sports on Gilles Devon Podcast out of London, England. Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repot Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes Podcast Wise, Podbay, Verbalcot Podcast, and All Feeds AI. Give that some praise. I say, come on. All Feeds AI, give that some praise, praise. That's that artificial intelligence that's trying to take over the world. So be careful. Saying we want more computers. They're starting to think out faster than humans. Also, you can follow Big T Sports Podcast streaming all over the universe on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. Give that some praise. Give the universe some praise. It's always expanding. Just like a lot of waistlines are always expanding. Coming out of COVID. All spread another word. I love paying homage to my family legacy. It's really amazing how many times people think about Ancestry.com. Who's doing it now? I mean, they only go back so many years. All life came from the African continent. My great-grandmother called her Mamo, the matriarch of the family, a wonderful woman, just making sure everybody was healthy and wealthy and wise and make the family stick together. Really do appreciate that. Also, my great-grandfather called him Pop, former Negro League baseball player, known for making the best moonshine in the universe. And saying, boys, get out of that barn. He and his church friends brings back a lot of good memories. Also, I just want to say there's so much greatness, and I really do appreciate my grandmother, Mudia. She was a wonderful person. A seer, could look at people and tell you everything about them. Really did everything to keep the family strong. A very intelligent person. And then my grandfather, Hezekiah, another seer, just a really good person, doing whatever he could to keep the family strong. And then my beautiful mother, very intelligent, a smart woman, helped start a Head Start program in Northern California. Also a food program to feed people and help us win the Little League Championship of the universe. Give Mama some praise. Come on now. Give us some praise. A Head Start program, a food program, and the Little League Championship of the universe. Everybody knows it's nice having leadership. It's all fair and love and war. I really do appreciate that. And then I want to say on my father's side, my grandfather, Albert Curry, a former pastor, had 2 churches in Northern California and Oakland, and then built a 3rd one in Central California. Also owned 2 service stations in Oakland, California. Really intelligent, hardworking, industrious man. And then my grandmother, Alberta Curry, very smart lady, helping my grandfather with the churches. Also, the service stations did everything possible to keep the family strong. And my father, retired Air Force fighter pilot and chief mechanic, making sure planes can fly high so they can all stay safe at night. And my beautiful brother Todd, with his bombastic voice, off the top it sounded like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. Voice was so loud, always reading, always say going forward. Really always want to pay homage to my beautiful daughter, Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the universe. A college graduate, 2 degrees with honors, in 3.5 years would help me set up events for Big C Sports when coaches would come to the West Coast. Really do appreciate that very, very much so. And then my handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the universe. Very smart, industrious college kid. He is so smart. He knows the NBA inside and out. Oftentimes sends me stats to help me stay abreast of things going on in the NBA. Always dealt his mind to the highest extent. And then Big C, with all of his wealth of knowledge in the past, give everybody some praise. Come on, y'all. I said give it praise. Everybody needs to rise and shine. What a great way to rise and shine. I love Big C Sports. I also want to say, people credit a boxing promoter for starting this, but my grandfather did it back in the day. He was always saying, let's get ready to rumble with his church buddies. Oh, let's get ready to rumble. Big C Sports, ESPY-nominated Big C Sports podcast. No scripts, painfully obvious. No 3-minute teleprompters, that's true. And no producer in my ear. All I got in my ear is a little bit of earwax and a microphone, if that makes sense to you. And then what I love about Big C Sports, I always produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast the shows. All the sound effects are provided by the agency. Really do appreciate that. We could all use more laughter in our lives. And then when it comes down to it, you look at the commercials, the stats providing, the storytelling. I like number 8, the play-by-play. Oftentimes you'll hear Steph Curry for 3. Get that some praise. Steph Curry doing this thing for 3. Got his side for the back, Klay Thompson. And then I think he dropped 40 points last night down in Houston. And then I upload the show. It goes out to 23 podcast applications all over the world, and then 4 TV platforms. I never missed a show since starting Big C Sports back on September 12th, 2015. Really do appreciate that. I believe that Big C Sports, and I've listened to a lot, is the only sports show in the universe that consistently honors God every single show. And one of my favorite verses was, I heard it growing up in Genesis 13:15. It said, for all the land that thou seest will I give you, and thy seed forever. In the book of James, chapter 4, verse 2, said, you have not because you ask not. If you want something, just ask. You got to always just ask. Asking is fundamental. Hardly anybody gets what they want without asking. Whether $100 million or whatever it is, you just got to ask. I really want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3. God said, let there be light. Open your cell phone to say it. Play Big C Sports Podcast. Try it. You can try it right now. You will see our app pop up all over the world on many different applications. Also very happy to run into opportunities that come when you do a podcast that's heard all over the world. The Forbes has the top sports agents created over $40 billion in contracts in 2021. Give that some praise. 40 billion, 2021, that's more than some people make in a lifetime. You don't say? Well, I tell you, Big C Sports has been invited to begin certifying to work with top sports marketing agencies in the United States in 2022. Give that some praise. I was invited because the opportunity is like when you're ready, the teacher will come, representing some of the top athletes in the world of sports all over this great planet in the universe. Football, basketball, baseball, soccer field, college sports. There's a lot of opportunity out there in the sports industry. And I was talking to a former salesperson today in media Elisa Willett. She had worked over in California. Now she's doing some work in Nevada, and was talking to her about opportunities that come in the business world. And when you think about the reason Big C Sports is also venturing into adding to the toolbox the sports marketing agency, the world's leading sports agents closed contracts in 2021 totaling more than $41.2 billion with a B, and that deserves some praise. You know how much macaroni and cheese you can buy with $41.2 billion? Over $1.9 billion in commissions were owned. Based on that, commissions, there were several deals that are within the striking zone of $500 million, and that's for Big C Sports. Oh, that's my producer. That's for one athlete. Okay. There's some things you don't want to change. I would like to say for Big C Sports, give that some praise. Give Big C Sports $500 million. Why not? Give it to other people. Give it to me. I deserve it. But when you think about it, sports agencies make this happen. You can read about some of the top sports agents in Forbes magazine that have athletes that sign baseball negotiations of 13 contracts over $100 million each. 5 of those contracts were over $200 million, and 2 were above over $300 million, a total of $3.2 billion for his clients, 30% more than in 2019. Also, when you think about some of these agencies, we saw Jerry Maguire, show me the money. That was Lee Steinberg and Cuba Gooding Jr. and Tom Cruise and a lot of other great actors. But some of the top corporations, sports agencies in 2021 made over $160 million in commission. Give that some praise. $160 million. And so I appreciate as Big C Sports talks to one of the top agents in the world. In fact, one of the top agents, think about this, my producer got to wake up. One of the top agents in the universe approached me about doing some sports marketing agencies since I worked with so many sports companies over the years, and I really do appreciate that. There's some baseball players that signed over $330 million, and also it's amazing how the money keeps climbing. It just keeps expanding, like the universe is expanding. When you think about it, soccer is a mega agent that's out there when you think about it, it's almost phenomenal when you hear it. Negotiated over $1.42 billion in contracts. That's $1.420 billion. Isn't that something? In contracts. In the same industry that Big C Sports has been invited to work in as a sports marketing agent, I really do appreciate that. His agency pulled in over $140 million in commissions. There's so much to be done in the sports world. Oftentimes, people tend to think they just want to be an athlete, get bigger, stronger, and faster. That's not necessarily the case. When you think about some of the commissions that are earned in the sports agency world, I believe FIFA, they allow you to earn up to 10% of commissions. So say you sign someone to a $100 million contract, then the agency can earn up to $10 million. That's 10%. Major League Baseball, that's a 5% that you can earn. So if someone signs a $100 million contract in baseball, the agency can earn up to 5%. That's a 5% commission. That would be $5 million. And that's per one person, if that makes sense to you. And then it's also, when you think about soccer and baseball agents, they make good money. The NHL and the NBA, they both allow fees to hit about 4%. In the NFL, they don't help the agents as much, even though you can make a lot of money. They cap out at 3%. So Big C Sports, based on getting my certification, we'll be working with football, basketball, and baseball players. I've known many of them over the years growing up. There's an agent by the name of David Mugoletta. He made the biggest jump of the year, catapulting to the number 8 with more than 1.5. Think about this, more than $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion negotiating deals and $47 million in commissions. And that's in 1 year. That's a lifetime. That's several lifetimes of income for a lot of people. And when you think about it, it makes him the NFL's top representative as well as the highest ranking black agent on the list. And oftentimes, you think about, I'm an African-American man. So many times we hear about, I think there was a Brian Flores, he filed a lawsuit, a racial discrimination lawsuit today against the Miami Dolphins. Had a winning record, made the playoffs last year, and they said, you're fired. and it says because they didn't, for whatever reason. But he filed a racial discrimination lawsuit against the Miami Dolphins, and he's going to win also. But think about this. A lot of coaches are trying to get contracts so someone can pay them between $3 million and maybe $7 million a year in the NFL coaching teams, or sometimes maybe $9 or $10 million. But here's a sports agent, a black man. I'm talking to all the black guys that get discriminated against. And if you know all the agents, all the athletes, they'll come to you. But this guy, when you think about $46 million in 1 year in commissions, you're not begging someone to please give me a job, NFL owners. If the black men were, I'm just saying this because maybe I'm going to help be a part of this. People stick together. Oftentimes people stick together with their own ethnic groups. They just do. Most people, their dentist looks just like them. Their doctor looks just like them. Their chiropractor looks like them. Their agent looks just like them. And that's just the fact. If the African Americans, the black players and athletes in the business were to start doing what the owners do, and you start letting your athletes sign with black men, the same way the white owners will only hire white men. They got one black coach out of 32. One. What if the black athletes were to do what the white owners do? The black athletes make up 75% of the NFL. 75%. What if they worked it out and talked to those African American athletes that say, instead of complaining about not having the chance to get a coaching job, what if the black athletes were to act like the white owners? Just sign with black agents. Give that some praise. You say it takes all of us, right? They have that at the end zone. It takes all of us in racism. So if the black athletes were to do what the white owners do, start signing with black agents, that would make them a $1 billion entity. And now who would have the power? You quit begging somebody when you already hold the gold. There's gold in them there hills. I told you there's gold in them there hills. And if you have the power and you act the same way the owners act, they don't hire black men. They might hire 1 or 2 or maybe 3. They had 3 last year. But they know they're going to hire white guys. They're going to hire their college frat boys. But if you start thinking like them, and 75% of the league were to only sign with black men, maybe have 1 or 2 white agents. Isn't that what the NFL does? Match the agents. Do what the owners do when it comes to people outside of your ethnic group. Don't work with people who don't look like you. That's what the owners do. They won't tell you that, but they do it by fiat. And so I'm just calling what a lot of young black African Americans do. The only time you see some of these guys is when they want you to come sign a contract to make them rich. They don't advocate with the owners of the NFL to help you get a job after you, oh my God, give me some praise. They don't advocate to help you get a job after you finish playing. That's why Brian Flores is having to file a lawsuit against the NFL for racial discrimination. But at the same time, what they should do is work with other black athletes, and there's a coalition of black agents that can help understand that you control 75% of the league. And that means you need people who look out for you, not just when you're out there running touchdown, home run, 3-point play, oh man, ready, keep going all the way. What do you do when your playing days are over? So if you were to act just like the white owners, they only hire white guys. They might hire 1 or 2 black guys to say, hey, we're fair, we met our quota. It's just something that black men should do. Start giving black men a chance. I'm telling you, the top sports agent in the United States made $160 million. And many of his clients are black. And he doesn't even advocate for those clients to get jobs in coaching once their playing days are over. Give Big C Sports some praise. Come on, give me some praise. Let me just ask you a question. People say, well, we should overcome, right? Look at all the top golfers. If you look at the top 50 golfers in the United States of America, the top 50, you can Google them. How many of the top 50 golfers, most of them white, let's say the top 50 golfers are white, let's say maybe 45 of them are white, how many have a black agent? How many of the top 50 golfers in the country have an agent that doesn't look just like them? Most of them they will go to someone who looks just like them and let that man make his money and feed his family. And then they'll say, whoa, what great representation. Tom Brady has great representation. His agent is making sure he has business after football is over. Why can't other people do that for each other too? You understand what I'm saying? If the owners will not hire you, will not even give you a chance to get a job, you got to beg them every year for like scraps on the table. the NBA and the NFL, if you thought like the owners, black athletes, do what your owners do. Sign with people who look like you, if that makes sense to you. Give that some praise. And then it takes all of us. Quit realizing you got the goal in your hand. You got the goal in your hands, and you're begging somebody who doesn't have the goal to give you a fair opportunity, and the history shows they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're going to tell you, we love you. You're like a son to me. I love you. I appreciate you. They're not going to let you coach their teams. We've seen a history of that. We just came out of Black Lives Matter. And that's just for equal opportunity and stop hurting black people. And the owners of the NFL said, so what? They fired everybody. Fired! Except for Mike Tomlin. He's never had a losing record. And there was talk that maybe they want to look a different way with him. Never had a losing record with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got white guys that have been fired before and already get jobs again. I mean, they've been all over the league. It's cronyism and nepotism. But who are they going to coach? For the most part, black men. And oftentimes, these same black men who complain they can't get a head coaching job, they will go out there and bypass black sports agents and help them feed their families who can get you more money. That's why Big C Sports wants to be a part of that. Let the white guys come to you for a change and say, hey, can we just overcome? Can we all just get along? We just want an opportunity. And you got more power than you think. But if you don't realize it, why even have the power? Give that some praise. That's why Big C Sports become a sports marketing agency. Let the white guys work for you for a change. They won't hire you. If the athletes worked with the black agents, you would end a lot of that garbage about not being able to get a job and give that some praise. Because they can demand that you got to have a certain percentage of black men that also can represent. They do it for white guys. They do it. That's why you got 32 NFL teams and 30 white coaches. Tomlin and Saleh, the only men of color that have a job in the NFL that are not white. You don't even have to Google that. It takes all of us to end racism? Really? All of us. Well, you got a chance to end it on your own. That's why I said Big C Sports is getting also into that business, because you got to either lead, fall, or get out of the way. But think about this. David Mugheletta made his biggest jump. Made a $47 million in commissions. Think about that. He's amazing. That makes him the NFL's top representative, as well as the highest ranking black agent on the Forbes list. And he's only 38 years old. You got guys that are 45 years old, 50 years old, and can't get even an interview from the NFL. But they'll hire white guys over and over and over again. Isn't this guy the guy that's going to build our team up? Why was the guy fired 2 or 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? They just recycle those guys. People say, oh, don't make it about race. If it's not about race, why are 40 of the 32 jobs, 30 of them are white guys? They only make up 25% of the league. How do they get all the jobs? That would be like the top 50 white golfers having all black agents. And they won't do it. What can we learn from the culture thing when white men will only hire other white men, and they'll tell black men, well, just keep looking. Well, right now, we shall overcome someday. And you control the league. But if you don't see it, then it won't happen. Give that some praise. I'm just going to say it's important. That's why I'm also getting in part of that business. Tom Brady retired today, but think about this. When you think about it, I think it was 2019, the first became a full equity partner in 2019. And just the last couple of years, he negotiated several of the NFL's biggest contracts, including quarterback Deshaun Watson. Think about that. Black man did that. Got him $156 million. Because he's good. Think about this. Wide receiver Michael Thomas. Got him $96 million. Black man did that. Because he was given the opportunity. Cornerbacks, Jalen Ramsey. With the Rams, they're going to Super Bowl 56. $105 million. Black men negotiated that. But there was a time where they would not let you in. You don't have the right affiliation. You don't have the right connections. It's out there. We just got to go get it and quit begging people. The NFL is a $15 billion a year enterprise. That's just NFL. By 2027, that's just 8 years. Actually, 5 years now, but it started in 2017. But in 2027, they're projecting the NFL to be a $27 billion industry. And most of the smart guys, the smart agents, are black that are getting into the business and getting guys to sign with them because they understand where you come from. Give that some praise. And when you do that, there'll be a sea change. Instead of begging guys to give you a job, just negotiate with those owners that they got to give men of color opportunity. You can't force anybody to do anything. But when you have negotiating to sign with somebody, if you don't sign this African-American coach, I'm going to have these black talents sign with you for your team. White guys have been doing it for years. And if there's anything wrong with it, why are they still doing it? We're going to join on the list by Athletes First colleague Todd France, who left the CAA earlier the year at number 12, as well as Brian Murphy, who was a founding partner and CEO of the agency at number 16. Collectively, they represented some $4.4, get this, $1 billion. That's black men that did that. The same men that were told, well, we don't want you guys to be a part of this business. You don't really understand how it's done. Rich Paul of Clutch Sports Group, he continues to ascend, began first appearance of the 2016. Jumped to number 9 on the list. In the top 10, Paul negotiated. Think about this, guys. $1.27 billion of contract. You think he's begging someone to give him a head coaching job in the NFL? No, he's getting his athletes hooked up. They got sports marketing agents that help them get their contracts and deals with TV and commercials. He made over $46 million in commissions. He's a black man. You know, the same guys that cannot get a head coaching job or even an interview in the NFL. You think he's sitting around knocking on doors seeing if someone would just give him a chance? Man made $46 million last year. That's why Big C Sports has ventured into sports marketing agency. It would be dumb not to. Think about some of these athletes' deals for LeBron James. $153 million. That's just the sports contract. That's not including some of the endorsements. The great Ben Simmons, $177 million. Think about that, guys. Everybody's focused on, Tom Brady retired. John Wall, $171 million. These are black men getting money from black men. They're not begging these white owners to give me a chance to interview to coach your team for $5 million. That's a clue, guys. It really is a clue. And we're just asking, I'm just saying, if you're fair, then you're fair. But a lot of these guys are not fair. It's a big industry that's full of a lot of sharks. And it's been a really tough industry for a lot of guys to break in. Oftentimes you have to know somebody to get in. And oftentimes you think they would turn a blind eye. But the black men and black women have opened the door, and they're never going to close it again. They're never going to close it. You just got to use the power to create opportunity. Power respects power. It doesn't respect, please give me a chance. You know, right, we shall overcome on the football stadium. Right, it takes all of us at the end of the end zone. Right, end racism on the back of a helmet. Okay, they can write in racism on the back of the helmet, and one black man has a job in the NFL. And then Salah, the second person of color. They might hire one more before all the white guys take the jobs again because the owners are white. And that's what they're doing. As long as you shut up and play, boy, don't worry about it. We made you rich. But there's a lot of guys getting wealthier as sports agents than they are as athletes. That's just a fact. And that's why Big C Sports is going into that industry. Give Big C Sports some praise. I said, come on, give me praise. It doesn't matter what people think about you. What matters is what you do. Going to take what's called the Big C Falls, also known as the Big C Shabbat. When I come back, going to run down a few more things in the sports universe. We're back on the Big C Balls, also known as the Big C Timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 23 podcast applications all over the universe. And streaming on 4 TV applications. Really do appreciate that. What I love about the Big C Sports getting into sports marketing agency once my certification is complete. When you think about what I just mentioned about the billion-dollar industry and the marketing agency, the rankings considered player contracts negotiated in the team sports of basketball, football, baseball, hockey, and soccer, as well as endorsements, earnings for golfers and tennis players, and then client numbers reflect only those counted in the ranking and may not reflect the total roster for the agency. When you think about why venturing into this industry, for sports agents and sports teams and the agencies, they credited only the active contracts for the manager or have negotiated for players who fall within the scope of rankings. Now, major league players and free agents are excluded. The total contract value under management for each sport was then multiplied by the maximum agent commission. I'm not saying that everybody's going to make a $1 million contract. Just getting into the business, opportunities for 6 figures. Watching the movie Jerry Maguire, show me the money. When you watch the movie, the athletes were black. The agents were white, Lee Steinberg and Tom Cruise, and they had Cuba Gooding Jr. And when Cuba Gooding got his contract, show me the money. I remember he caught a pass in the end zone, laid down on the ground for a while, and got up doing his dance and all that. Tom Cruise came down to check on him. But Cuba Gooding in the movie, you could even say maybe LeBron James or Patrick Mahomes now, or whoever it happens to be, they only have one contract. The agent may represent 10 different athletes or 20 athletes. So what would you rather be? The top agent in the country that made $160 million in commissions, or the top athlete in the country that may make $50 million? It's just a thought. One of it, you got to be bigger, stronger, and faster than everybody else. The other, you just got to be more savvy and understand how to talk to athletes. If you're a black man in this country and you know a lot of other athletes, isn't it easier for you to talk to guys that look like you and that have the similar background and play the same games you played growing up than it is for someone who doesn't look like them to come in and get that kind of contract signed? I know there's a lot of collusion that's gone on, but things are changing because opportunity has opened the door where they can't okie dokie anymore. Hey, I love you, brother. Hey, God bless you, brother. Hey, you're like my son, brother. I love you, brother. No, I don't want your love. I want the $150 million. That's what has to be had. That's the conversation we got to start having. I love you, brother. One black man has a job in the NFL, and then saw another person of color. 2 people of color out of 32 teams. I love you, brother. I love you. I love you. I love you. Gonna cheer for you. Touchdown. Over. 3-4 play. They're gonna say that for the Super Bowl. Touchdown. They want to hear the touchdown. But we got to start saying, show me the money. Jerry Maguire was right in the movie with Lee Steinberg. Show me the money. There's a lot of good people in this business, but if they're not advocating for black men to get work, who cares if they clap you on the back and say, hey, I'm going to treat you like you're my son. So if you're looking for opportunities, if you're an athlete anywhere in the world, I've been talking more and more to sports athletes that are in understanding name, image, and likeness. There's another player that just signed with the University of Southern California today, came out of Oklahoma. Don't you think he has a sports agent? He has a sports agent. A lot of guys do. But who puts the money in their bank? There has to be a sea change for black men. We're still trying to get voting rights passed, and Congress is acting like the guy at McDonald's. Let me have, I will take, give me a number, let me see if I want to get, do you guys have, man, it doesn't take long to sign the damn Voting Rights Act. It benefits black Americans. It benefits everybody, but predominantly the people who've been pushed aside, marginalized. But if you got a microphone, speak up and quit being afraid. If you're an athlete and you're looking for representation, 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. Connected with some of the best sports agents in the universe. And just tell them Big C sent us all fair in level war. Really looking forward to that. I also want to say, for sports betting, sports books are cleaning up, making so much money because they're betting on sports. And you got to understand they're betting on sports because sports is big business. But if you know anybody dealing with betting more than they can afford, just get a checkup from the neck up. If you have issues, pick up the phone, call 800-GAMBLER. That's 800-GAMBLER. and try to get help for people who are going through issues. I also want to say thank you to our Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. They will stand on their head to help you get help. 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net, and you can get some help there. Give the Veterans Crisis Hotline. Come on, y'all, give it some praise. I said give it praise. We all need somebody to lean on. We all need that. And they're there to help a lot of people. They just got to call and make the call. I really do love giving out that hotline. Also, I just want to say to everybody that's out there, don't drink and drive. I want to say thank you for Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, 100% honest game. Sports fans, when you're watching the big game, you want to eat the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with all the exotic meat. It also goes great with the Big C coffee. It comes in one size, extra large. The best part of waking up is Big C in your cup with $150 million. I'm telling you, if you're a young black man and you're coming out of college, white guys too are signing with these black agents because they are showing me the money. You got to understand that too. Have a key change. The world of sports agency. Don't just let it be for guys that keep you out of it. A lot of these guys are frat brothers. They don't let you in. They let their frat brothers in. And the first thing they do is they go find the biggest, strongest, fastest black talent. And they say, I'm going to make you rich if you sign with me. And all you got to do is look at that man in the eye and ask him, what does he know about your culture? Can he show you pictures where he grew up with people who look like you? Oftentimes they don't. They come out of secluded environments where they don't see you. They don't interact with you. They avoid you. But when they see you can make them $100 million, now they want to show up and ask you to sign with them. I know many black athletes and agents, and they have that same experience. If you're fair, you're fair. But if it's okay for the NFL owners, predominantly white, to only hire white guys, then how about the black guys start looking at black agents to represent you and show you the money? Show you the money! And put a clause in the contract. They got to interview some black coaches and hire them, not just interview you. It's like the Big C Burger. It tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hands. It's like the Big C Coffee. It tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hands. Like the contract. If you get an opportunity, you got to sign the contract. If you're not getting the opportunity, then how do you make it? I mean, you got to sign the contract. I'm gonna talk about some sports betting that happens all over this country and really all over the world. 2022 Super Bowl odds for the Rams versus the Bengals. Yeah, this is also called the Big C Bowl because it comes with exotic meat. And a ram and a Bengal tiger are exotic meat. Give exotic meat some praise. Come on, y'all, give it praise. But betting is big in the United States of America. Tracking Super Bowl 56 and the point spread and the total, the over-under. A lot of guys are looking at how they do that. Right now, the spread, and it may change. The Rams are favored by 4.5 points versus the Bengals, and they've been the underdog in every game they played. Cincinnati. Some people say it's the year of the Tiger. The over-under is 48. And when you think about that, 2022 Super Bowl bet is early. 2 weeks away is kickoff. But Cincinnati and Los Angeles both punched their way to Super Bowl 56. But it doesn't include a long journey for the Rams. They just have to get in their cars and drive down to the stadium. And, of course, Cincinnati has to travel across the country. But LA will effectively host the Bengals. And the game at beautiful SoFi Stadium, despite the AFC technically playing the role of the Super Bowl home team this season, it would be so nice if Cincinnati wore the all black with the orange stripes. That would be amazing. They've done it before. We're all black with the orange stripes. I think that would be a very dominant statement. And, of course, the Rams coming in with their gold pants, white jerseys, and their blue helmets. But when you think about the initial movement, it shifted the spread from the Rams at -3.5 to -4.5, and the over-under went from 49.5 to as high as 50. Now it's been bouncing around at 48. So it may bounce around some more. When you think about the Rams, the second Super Bowl appearance for head coach Sean McVay era, and the times that you have Matthew Stafford right now under center. He's glad to get out of Detroit. Never won a playoff game in Detroit. And they got rid of Carson Wentz, sent him back to Detroit. And now they have a guy that can fling the ball downfield, but their defense helps them as well. And they have some great receivers, Cooper Kupp and also Odell Beckham Jr. They have some good players for the Rams. But the Bengals, their first trip since the 1988 season is the battle of 2 number 1 overall picks at quarterback. And then you look at Matthew Stafford selected first overall in 2009, while Joe Burrow was taken first in 2020 out of the LSU Tigers. And Joe Burrow has never lost a college playoff game or an NFL playoff game. Isn't that something? Matthew Stafford has. So isn't that something? I mean, Joe Burrow didn't do it on his own, had a lot of great talent around him. But it's amazing how people look at these things. In the sports world, it's a great world. I love the business. Just going to make sure that I get inside of the sports agency business too. I love the broadcast side of having a podcast that goes all over the world. But also, there's a lot more money as a sports marketing agent where guys are making millions of dollars. Millions in the business. They're there. And to be invited in, I know a lot of sports agents, black and white, and oftentimes they'll tell you the same thing that I just told you about as an African-American coach trying to get a job in the NFL by mostly white guys. They've just been telling them no. Right now, we're just looking elsewhere. They're looking for white guys that have been fired and hired again and again and again. And it's a shame. And the honest white guys know it's true too. That's what I'm saying for the black men out there. Start signing with black agents. If you're an athlete and you have an agent coming to your school, your university representing, trying to get you the money, show me the money. Give the black sports agents a chance first. The same way the owners give the white guys a chance, give the black men a chance, because the NFL, the highest represented sports agents, are black men. Isn't that something? Give that some praise. Give that some praise. There was a time he wouldn't have been given the opportunity. So quit complaining and just start thinking like the owners. It's just a fact. They don't care about doing the right thing. They don't care about it takes all of us. These are the same guys since the start of the NFL. They'll just hire white guys over and over and over again. They even have some NFL teams saying they can't wait for some college coaches to come out of college coaching to coach an NFL team. And you have some former NFL coaches, black men, that they won't even give a chance to. Isn't that something? I know DeMeco Ryans, he's an amazing defensive coordinator for the 49ers. He decided to stay on the staff with the 49ers, so that helps the 49ers compete again in the NFC Championship next year. But there's a lot of money in this business, and I'm just asking, start thinking like the white guys. Hire people who look just like you, and then say, thank you, brother. Give that some praise. Thank you, brother. Love you, brother. Give that some praise. How about the $150 million? Give that some praise, because it's out there. Black man manages over $4 billion in contracts. $4 billion. Black man. Because black agents are starting to do what the white guys are doing. Give people who look like you a chance. They don't apologize for it. That's why Brian Flores is suing the Miami Dolphins today. Racial discrimination. Oh, it doesn't exist, brother. We love you, brother. Don't we all just get along? Look at what people do, not what they say. Behind closed doors, there's a lot of people, they will try to destroy black men. They just try it. If you don't run the 40 fast enough or lift enough weights, they're done with you. They don't look at trying to get you a job in the league. Look at some of our white broadcast partners. I'm just being honest. That were playing football a year ago. You know their names. And they go right out of retirement of NFL football into the press box. No experience whatsoever ever working in broadcast. And they get pulled into the networks. Why? Because it's liberty and justice for all. Give liberty and justice and all for some praise. Give liberty and justice for all some praise. There were guys without a broadcast degree, journalism degree, communications degree saying, when I retire, I'm going to get into the broadcast business. Like how? What's your experience? Being white? They know it. They're out there. Google their names. I'm not lying. Big C Sports is about the truth. You don't have to like it, but you can't say you didn't know any better. And so that's why it's important to stop letting people fake you the okie doke. I love you. Tell you they love you like you're the son. At the end of the day, they're trying to break you down, and they're trying to keep the money for somebody who looks like them. So I just believe in speaking the truth. You had Tom Brady retire today. At a 7-time Super Bowl champion, steps away after 22 seasons. And he officially announced his retirement today. And what did Big C Sports tell you yesterday that nobody else was telling you? I said he was marketing for TB12, his company, and there's nothing wrong with that. But let me ask you a question. Why does he have so many opportunities? Because his agent helped him. He didn't do it on his own. Give agencies who help your athletes some praise. Everybody needs a chance to start. 22 seasons with New England Patriots and Tampa Bay Buccaneers combined, 20 with New England and 2 with Tampa. The Patriots picked Tom Brady in the 6th round of the 2000 NFL Draft, 199th overall pick, and saw him go on to become what many consider the greatest quarterback in league history. Not the greatest football player. Jim Brown was that. Not the greatest athlete. Deion Sanders was that. But the greatest quarterback based on winning 7 championships and going to 7 or 10 Super Bowls. And you got to thank the whole team. He didn't do it by himself. But he is a guy that's played football at the quarterback level as well as anybody ever has. During the 2021 season, set the NFL's all-time record for passing yards. Also the NFL's passing touchdown leader, 624 passing completions. Think about that. 624 touchdown passes, completions 7,263, passing attempts 11,317. In 2021, one of the most prolific in his career, with a league-leading 5,316 yards and 43 touchdown passes. And he's 44 years old. He led all the NFL quarterbacks in passing yards, attempts, completions, and touchdowns. Isn't that something? So multiple reports came out that he was going to retire. He's still going to get that $15 million the Buccaneers owe him. But he had a podcast that's out there also, and he said he's still going to do the process thinking about it. But he announced it today that he was going to step down and get into whatever he wants to do with his life. Because with the kind of money that he's made from not just playing football, he's done it because of business dealings that he's been able to do outside of football, using that to help him, as a lot of people are doing. LeBron James is one of them. So everybody has their own thoughts about who's better, whether it's Montana, whether it's Brady, whether it's Warren Moon, whether it's Terry Bradshaw, Tarkenton, Staubach, Aikman, Cunningham, whoever it was. Think about Brady was one of the best in closing games, quarterback records, and war score games, 8 points or less, a minimum 100 starts. Playoffs included. Tom Brady, 107 wins and 50 losses. Peyton Manning, 81 wins and 40 losses. Ben Roethlisberger also retired, 86 wins, 53 losses. Aaron Rodgers, 63 wins, 49 losses. Russell Wilson, 55 wins, 44 losses. There's a lot of good quarterbacks out there. Brady in Super Bowls, a 5-time MVP. Tom Brady threw 21 touchdowns in Super Bowls. That's more than Russell Wilson 4, Kurt Warner 4, Peyton Manning 3, Eli Manning 3, Aaron Rodgers 3, and Ben Roethlisberger 3 combined. It speaks for itself. He's put in the time to become great. And that's why he's earned the opportunity. But he was also given a chance by Bob Kraft. He told him when he was signed out of Michigan, I'm going to be the best quarterback you ever drafted, or one of the best players. So he set the bar high for himself. He wasn't a star player when he went to Michigan. I think he backed up Greasy when he was at Michigan. And when he was at Cerro High School in San Mateo, he was supposed to go to Cal Berkeley, ended up going to Michigan. They handed out bigger paperback lunches. Rumor has it at Michigan that you get bigger paperback lunches at Michigan than you do at Cal Berkeley. My producer's a little bit slow on that. But it's amazing what he's done with his career. Tom Brady, many people may not know this. I have a friend by the name of Mark Tennis. He runs Cal High Sports. They were doing sports combines. I think the second one ever was held at St. Mary's College in the Bay Area. And Tom Brady attended that one out of high school at Cerro High School. A lot of people don't know that. Big C Sports knows it. And he attended that combine at St. Mary's College. He was not the biggest or the fastest athlete, and he wasn't then, and he's not now. But he had a knack for just working at his craft, surrounded by good receivers, surrounded by a good defense, and he focused on the game. He will tell you now he's not the fastest guy in the league. He doesn't throw the ball as far as anybody, but he's been able to just work hard at his game. When I think about it, he had a longtime Patriots teammate, Julian Edelman, was working out with a close friend in Los Angeles during the 2013 offseason, and he caught the first glimpse of Brady's. He's like anybody else. He works at his craft. And then Edelman hadn't realized that Brady had been keeping a Super Bowl countdown in each of his home games, something quarterbacks have been doing for years. Brady's the owner of the modest 3 Lombardi trophies. At that time, was a little shy of matching Joe Montana for the Bay Area's kid. And the supposed to be is that I'm telling you, he's a modern. I think he was at the at the catch with Dwight Clark and Joe Montana. Supposedly he was at that game. And imagine going on from that to what he did with the New England Patriots. I mean, it's just amazing how things go back and forth. But if you think about what he was able to do, he did it his way. He went out on top. He didn't go out kicking and screaming. He didn't go out on the bottom where people said, well, he's washed up. He can't throw the ball anymore. Maybe he should step aside. He's hurting our team. He didn't go out that way. Brady walked away the way he wanted to. And there's still some people that feel that he might be playing with the San Francisco 49ers before his career's over. That makes sense to you. Even if they just sign him and have him come on and wear the jersey one time in San Francisco and throw one touchdown pass. Could you imagine Brady back to pass, throws downfield, caught by Deebo Samuel, touchdown! Brady to Samuel, 50 yards! Wouldn't that be something? Rumor has it he still could go for the 49ers. They're not going to keep Jimmy G. They're going to move on. That's the talk, the thinking. Trey Lance could learn under Tom Brady for one season. Just a thought. If you only get one shot, the great Eminem talked about it. You have a chance to come back to your home city. Grew up in San Mateo, Levi Stadium just down the street in Santa Clara from San Mateo. But just to come back and wear that red and gold. It's just a thought. Because what's he going to do if he doesn't do that? He's going to always wish. He's always going to wish. I wonder what it would have been like playing for the 49ers. And as he's walked away from Tampa Bay, the opportunity presents itself. They're moving on from Jimmy G. They like Trey Lance, but maybe you think he can learn under Tom Brady. Steve Young set the bench while Joe Montana was doing his thing. Colin Kaepernick set the bench while Alex Smith was doing his thing. And Trey Lance sitting the bench while Jimmy Garoppolo was doing his thing. But what if Tom Brady came to the 49ers and signed with them? And played 1 year for his hometown. These are things you would have to just dream it because some dreams don't come true for a lot of people. But imagine if he came and quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. Coming out of the tunnel, number 12, San Francisco 49ers, Tom Brady! Could you imagine that? At Levi Stadium, just for 1 year. He said he was going to play until he's 45 years old. He's only 44. The writing's on the wall. What if he just came to San Francisco and gave it one more chance? That one shining moment. We'll take what's called the Big Three Pause, also known as the Big Three Timeout. When we come back, we're going to talk about the NBA basketball. Coming out, Levi Stadium, number 12, quarterback, Tom Brady! All right, we're back from the Big Three Balls, also known as the Big Three Timeout. You can follow Big Three Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 23 podcast applications in the universe. Isn't that something in 4 TV applications? Imagine if Tom Brady came and signed with the 49ers for just one season and making his dreams come true. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. Well, the doors open when you walk through it. It's all fair and level. I'm going to give you the Big C NBA countdown. Guys that like to line up behind the arc, a shoot 4 3. It's all fair and level war. Tom Brady signed with the 49ers 1 year and then walk off from the glory. Tuesday, beautiful Black History Month, February the 1st. New Orleans at Detroit. Washington at the defending NBA champions Milwaukee Bucks. That's on TNT. The Miami Heat over in Toronto, Canada, taking on the Toronto Raptors. The Orlando Magic taking on the Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Hold on, my producer gave me the wrong shit. All spread level war. And then you have Denver, the Denver Nuggets taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Golden State Warriors down in Texas taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Game's already tipped off. And then tonight at 7 o'clock, the big game down in Phoenix. And I hear Harden's going to play. You have the Brooklyn Nets. They're taking on the Phoenix Suns down there in the Valley of the Sun. All fair and level war. Sometime in life, if you get a chance to say yes, you You got to say yes. Oftentimes people say no. Sometimes you got to say yes. You have not because you ask not. Tom Brady signed 1-year contract with the 49ers. Make your dreams come true. Wouldn't that be great for your father to see you play in the red and gold that he loves so much? Sometimes you do things to make people proud of you. Back in the day, there's a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you flow like a butterfly, you sing like a bee, you rumble, young man, rumble, with all you've got to use. How can you lose? All of them say, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly beat. All these big sea burgers make me light on my feet. That's why I'm always rumbling. And that big sea coffee makes me have to go to the bathroom real fast. That's why I'm always standing on my feet. My beautiful mother always says there's never evidence due for racism or domestic violence. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that garbage to get the phone, then that's a help, because no man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. As we always tell you on every Big C Sports Show, we thank you. We appreciate you. We hope that you have a super fantastic day.